So I think a lot of people in Berlin and outside know me from my musical project Carmen Electro. So I'm originally from Finland, but I'm currently based in Berlin, and my main trade is I'm a vinyl techno DJ. And I also recently became a label head, so I'm launching my own label, which is very exciting. And I'm also releasing my own music soon, so also could call myself a producerin or the producer. And I'm an absolute subculture enthusiast. I've always studied subculture and done a bit of music journalism also, so I would like to think that I have a kind of multifaceted approach to music, which is absolutely my life passion. Actually, my relationship with Berlin traces back all the way to my childhood, because my late aunt married a Berliner, and so she lived here for decades, and as a kid I would come to visit. And then I lost my connection with Berlin for many, many years, and it wasn't until I was studying in university in London and there discovered underground music and techno particular, and started to travel to Berlin to experience the party scene here and completely fell in love with the city. I soon found myself spending most of my extra cash actually to just travel to Berlin and be participant of the music scene here. And then as I finished my studies in London, I thought to myself maybe I should just move to Berlin instead of traveling here all the time. So I did, and actually it's funny that you asked me this question, because the other day I was thinking about my profound connection to Berlin, because this city definitely has given me so much, not only professionally but also I feel like it's such a big part of my identity, and it has changed my identity for the better so much. I really think I found myself in Berlin, and like the original attraction of just experiencing the raw energy and like how free people feel here really, I think, encouraged me also to follow my own passion and a path in life that in my cultural background it's like not necessarily so obvious or accepted to follow a path for a musical artist or an underground techno artist. So yeah, Berlin has given me so much, and at this point it's definitely part of my soul, and I do feel I owe this city so much. And even though it's changed over the years, I have to say that I love it as much as I did on the very first time when I came to Berlin. So Berlin, actually, as cliche as it is, but I love Berlin, and the city has given me so much that I'm forever in debt to Berlin for sure. Very good question. I mean, I would say that for me the journey was a bit different than for somebody maybe getting into DJing now, because now it's so common to be a DJ and also to be a female DJ. Because when I first started going out to techno, there was really not that many female artists to look up to, so I actually never thought about becoming a DJ. I was just a participant of the scene and super happy to be on that side of the booth, on the dance floor side. And then when I moved to Berlin, I was still participating in other ways than just dancing by, for example, I was collecting records because I loved going to record stores. So I was always collecting records, and I got one turntable at home, obviously, to be able to listen to the records that I had. At some point, my ex-partner got CDJ Pioneer 800Ks, like the super old school ones that they don't really read the BPM correctly, nor you can sync, nor you can look at the sine wave. So you really have to use your ears to be able to DJ even digital music on those. So I kind of got into that, and then therefore I learned how to DJ by using my ear rather than using my eyes, which I think is like the greatest difference between DJing vinyl and DJing digital today. And then I was just DJing a lot at home and growing my music collection on vinyl, because I think in order to be an amazing DJ you need to love the act of collecting music and always growing your music collection. And for me, I just did not enjoy the act of browsing the internet for tunes and then buying digital files the same way that I did when I was going to record stores, or even purchasing music on Discogs, but you still have like the moment of the package arrives, you unbox it, you put it on the turntable for the first time, you listen to it. So at some point then in Berlin, and this is also why, again, I love Berlin so much, because here I was surrounded by people who were doing it. Like maybe they weren't like already being professional DJs, but they were absolutely doing it all of the time. And I saw other girls also doing it. So it kind of like, I was like, at one point I was like, actually like maybe I can also do it. Like it's possible to do it. Like all of these guys are doing it, and girls, why shouldn't I be able to do it? And then there was one legendary garden party at my friend's place where he had rented some turntables and he was like, hey, do you want to play? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna play a vinyl only set, which like I definitely didn't know what I was signing myself up for. And it didn't go like amazingly, but after this I was like, oh my god, I need to learn this skill. Like this is like absolutely like captured me and I want to be able to deliver like a sick set. So for 1 year after that, I told myself I'm gonna practice 1 hour every day, and I did. And then COVID hit, but obviously then like live streams started happening, and also like Her Berlin supported me like through those like quite early on when I still had no name. And then through there, an agency picked me up, and as COVID ended, I'm like super blessed that I all of a sudden started having more gigs, and then everything kind of started rolling. You know, I think that's a question that I have also asked myself many times. Because it definitely, I mean, it comes with its own hurdles, and just like physically it's way more exhausting, especially when you're touring alone and you have a lot of baggage, and then you have the vinyls. And then potentially you're going into a country, like I played in India, where like the whole country has like a limited amount of turntables because there's just not that many turntables. So they had to bring turntables from like 500 kilometers away to the city. And then I'm just like, but what if they're not working? Like I don't have a USB, like then all these people are like paying for a ticket and coming to see me and I can't play. So obviously there is that stress factor that is always there, and sometimes you're just like, oh, I wish I just didn't have to do this today. But I have to say, I mean, I think psychologically, you know, it's just that risk. Because I don't think you could probably ask somebody who's been doing this for a very long time, like Freddie K, and to ask him if he thinks that he knows 100% every time before he goes on stage that the set is gonna be amazing. I don't think you can say that with vinyl, because there are so many variables that are completely out of your hand. So that always brings that risk, and with the risk comes the rush. And I think as long as you have the rush, it's like you never quite know, is it gonna go good or is it not gonna go good? So, but when it does go good, like I'm getting goosebumps now. But when it does go good, it's just like the satisfaction is insane. Yeah, it's just because I did some digital DJing also at the very start of my career, but I never just felt the same kind of level of satisfaction. I mean, I also think like also looking at not just myself, but like my friends around me who also play vinyl, I think it requires like a specific type of a person to be able to commit to this, and also to want to do this, because there are so many times where you like have to face challenges. But I think I love vinyl for that as a format, because it really like it forces you to look at yourself and also look at your weaknesses, and just like failing and being able to decide, okay, if I failed, like am I gonna now just go under my bed and never come out again and just cry, or am I just gonna accept it and be like, okay, we're gonna work harder, we're gonna check that better next time, and then you grow as a person. So I feel like it has definitely like helped me to grow as a person so much. And like a lot of the challenges in my daily life now don't really feel like a challenge anymore, because this profession can be quite tough with the vinyl. So I have to say that a record that I think I listen equally much at home and works in every set, and it also has a very deep personal meaning to me because it's something me and my partner share a very dear memory with, is Underworld's Dark and Long. Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, it's such an emotional track. You can see how people are connected to it when they're also dancing, and oftentimes like maybe they don't even know the track, but it's just, yeah, it's definitely a masterpiece from Underworld. So I'm very happy to possess this record. It was not so easy to get my hands on it, but yeah, definitely keeping it safe and tight. Then album-wise, I actually want to highlight 2 albums. Okay, maybe I start with Obscure Shape's recent album, because Obscure Shape to me is like a modern producer whose work I absolutely adore. I think he's so talented, and he just gets like the spirit of club music in this intersection of like paying respect to like the historic sound of techno, but also having his own interpretation on it. And every track that he puts out there through his house project or his techno project, I'm just an absolute fan. So I play a track from Obscure Shape in every set that I have. So I wanted to highlight this beautiful LP from him. This one is actually something that I more in the recent couple of years I got really into, like psychedelic, a bit older music from the 60s and the 70s and krautrock and stuff like that, and Klaus Schulze. And I came across this record more recently, but I'm listening to it at home non-stop. If you're into psychedelic music, you should definitely check out a band called Sand. It's a krautrock band, also I believe from the 70s. This is just a very, very psychedelic journey through like soundscape and like droney sounds, but also very trippy vocals. And it's definitely something, if you put on some candles and some incense and lay down and listen to it, you will trip without anything else needed. But yeah, the 70s and the 60s for psychedelic music, definitely. It's like, I don't think we make that kind of stuff anymore. Like, we're not able to reach those kind of like altered states of consciousness. And then finally, I also want to highlight this LP from Nothing. This is the dub works. I actually don't know. Hypnotherapy, obviously. Hypnotherapy, also on the more psychedelic side, I would say, but still in the realms of dub techno, and not this like crazy mind gamey, but like very, very extremely beautiful. Like, there's a couple of tracks like Wave Return. When I listen to it, I like get a bit teary every time, because it's just those frequencies that he's using. It just speaks to like a part of your soul. And I think Nothing is an amazing artist anyways, and he's so humble as a person, and the fact that he goes by the name Nothing, and then he makes his most insanely beautifully impressive music. I think it says everything about the artist. So yeah, this is definitely something that you can play in a club set, but also just fully enjoy at home. So something that I've been working towards for the past 2 years, which is a relatively long time, is launching my own label. Finally, it has been a dream of mine since I'm like 19 to launch my own label, and 2 years ago I like solidified the idea to actually do this. But because of the nature of the label, that I wanted to work with more underground artists, but I obviously wanted to release music on vinyl, because I play vinyl, so obviously I want to be able to play the music on my label and also to contribute to the world of vinylism. But to find artists whose music whose music reflects the idea of your label, who are underground, that haven't really released anywhere yet, but who are ready to release on vinyl. This is like a Venn diagram that's actually, it's like multiple things coming together, and it took me like more than a year to find first guy, Nathan Alexander, check him out, for the label. But so I also just had to be patient, because I didn't want to rush things, you know? So it's been definitely a test of patience, and I can be quite an impatient person, but therefore I think this project was meant to happen, that I learned some patience and actually taking it slow and making sure that the vision that I had, like, I don't need to compromise on anything. So now we have like 3 releases planned. I've just paid for the down payment for the very first release last week, so probably by the time the interview is out, you can purchase the record. Kuya record, check it out. And I have to say that working on this project also just been so exciting, because I got to work with so many amazing, talented friends from different disciplines, you know, from design, from event planning, and it's just been super lovely to work with so many excited, curious, passionate minds. And very excitingly also, besides the label, which is like definitely gonna be my baby, I've also been kind of behind the scenes producing music for a few years now. And my very first release is coming out in June, which I can't believe that this day is finally coming. Shout out to Crimey. It's gonna be coming out in Crimey's label 7, which is like an intersection of house and techno, which is also a very exciting space, and I'm so grateful to be part of this project. So yeah, happy to finally be spinning my own tune soon. I mean, I honestly have to mention 2 venues when it comes to this question, because I think also the nature of underground music has kind of shifted throughout the years, especially like after the pandemic. I see, like, obviously I kind of understand the shift, because we were so restricted for a couple of years and life like so terrible, that afterwards now we're just more looking for this like good feeling, and like getting to the good feeling very quickly. But I think like it shows in the type of music that DJs are playing and the type of promoters that are like big now, that the sound is a bit more about like consuming. And there are 2 venues that I've absolutely adored to play at, which were Bastiani in Georgia and K41 in Kiev. And because the scene is quite different there in comparison to like more Western Europe, in terms that like due to political situation also, people go to party for a little bit different reasons, you know? They don't party because it's just yet another party to consume the music and consume this and that. They go there because it's like actually their chance to be free and to honestly live out their identity, which perhaps in the society otherwise is not accepted. So the energy on those dance floors is just like people are really in it to actually be there with their very purest form of energy. And as a DJ, I mean, when I played there, I just felt so humbled because I wanted to give those people that break from their life or like just help to bring everybody together for this brief amount of time where they can really enjoy themselves and like, yeah, just like you feel that it's like a community of like people who support each other and they stand for a cause rather than just go there to consume and then leave and then like there's no substance. So K41 Bastiani, for those reasons, like absolutely can highly recommend visiting both of them and also supporting those countries where situation is not so good politically at the moment. But I have to say, as a dancer, I had an amazing time. It's almost 2 years ago now at Watergate, when Watergate was still open, when Funk Assault were doing a all night long, or actually was all day long set where they started with some house tunes and then developed into techno. I think what those guys are doing with their project, I mean individually, Schlea and Alarico, but also as Funk Assault, it's just, yeah, it was one of those times that you just dance and your body is moving you. You are not moving your body anymore, and it's just like, I was there with good friends and oh, it was a sweaty day, but wow, it was so good still. Definitely makes me smile a lot. Oh my god, true. We had like, when we were on Asia tour, we had way too much extra weight when we were coming back. Then when we were checking in our luggage, we just like put like in our backpacks full of records because we both bought a lot of vinyl, and then just put it under our jackets, and then we were just like turtle mode going to check in our luggage that they didn't notice, but they didn't notice. We didn't have to pay. Thanks God. Well, for sure happy to talk about this kind of stuff because I could talk about vinylism all day long. So happy to also speculate the future of it. I mean, I think, you know, vinyls is like, it's like shoes, like you will always need shoes. And I think the same way you will always need analog formats like vinyl. And I remember already a few years ago when I was in university, I was actually writing a research paper on like the analog experience in a digital world. And that was like, the world was way less digital then than what it is now. So I really think highly digitalized society as what we live in now, the meaning of an analog experience, whether it's photography or vinyl, like that will only become more important and people really crave for that experience, you know? So, I mean, I am very excited because also now that I'm starting a label and obviously I'm shopping for a lot of vinyl for DJing anyways, I see so many labels popping up that also releasing their music on vinyl, which is a huge, I mean, this is really a financial commitment that you don't do this to make money, you will probably lose money in the process. You really shows how passionate people are about the format. And I also see a lot of like Gen Z collective actually pushing the sound of vinyl in Europe, in different countries, which I think is really cool because I don't think there was that many young people doing it when I was their age. So I think it's like a great sign that people definitely having a lot of interest for this in house and in techno. So I think vinyl's future is bright because yeah, it's just this very authentic hands-on experience which we need instead of just our screens. So in the summer, I'm super excited to return to Else, which is definitely a lovely venue in Berlin. I cannot reveal the lineup, unfortunately, because it's kind of like a secret, very special lineup. So I believe it's on the 29th of June. If you want to come out and dance in the sun and then dance the night away inside, I can highly recommend it. It definitely would be a party that I would go to dance at anyways, if I wasn't blessed enough to also be part of the lineup. So hope to see you on the dance floor. And I have a couple of other exciting Berlin dates for the rest of the summer, which will allow me to test my endurance once more. Let's just put it like that. So yeah, very excitedly already organizing my records for those appointments. I mean, big question, right? Considering also everything that is happening not only in the music scene, but in the world in general. I mean, I think we're living in very curious times, and it's kind of like, I don't want to think that it's scary. I think change is always necessary, and I think as an optimist, something better will surely come out of this. But yeah, obviously the world is in a changing point right now, and I just think in general we can make things much easier for each other's and for ourselves by like approaching situations and topics in life with a little bit more this mindset of like, again, like how can I show up in like a better version of myself to help someone else or help a cause, rather than just passively sit there and wait that things happen, or just rant about things on social media but not actually participate in changing something. So if you really believe in something or you feel passionate about something, just like do something, like even if it's like a small thing, do it.